Lube, second last year to Trentino, are looking to win this trophy for the very first time. The kings of Italy, the kings of Europe, but could they be crowned kings of the world today against Sada Cruzeiro in Becim, the home of the Brazilian champions. Robert Landy Simon to get us underway. It's a ferocious serve, pairing the target. Evandro on the turn. Difficult tracking that one from behind his shoulder, Evandro. And the service pressure already key, Robert Landy Simon. Rock Sada Cruzeiro out of system with the very first serve of this game. Cuban national team captain for 5 years, Robert Landy Simon. This time, Sada Cruzeiro are on the scoreboard. Simon, who started to represent Cuba again this year after a 9-year absence. That was his first Champions League gold medal with Lube, back in Berlin at the back end of last season. Isaac Santos looks for Yoandy Leal to try and work him out of system, but they're so powerful. Lube, Bianek opens up his account, but it's because of the good work earlier on in the rally from Yoandy Leal, passing absolute dimes and hitting sharp angles. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be an absolute fest of power, athleticism. Great competition so far for this man here, Kamil Ryglitsky, 44 points. Probably wasn't expecting to play such a large part in this competition. May go for the first choice opposite, but with that lower back injury for Gafor, it's meant that Ryglitsky gets a big opportunity. Having just signed from Ravenna. His father, a European medalist for Poland in the 80s. Evandro, 2016 Olympic gold medalist, playing in that opposite position, competing with Wallace, who's been the staple in that team for some time. Panic stations for Sada Cruzeiro, as Yoandy Leal has been on fine form behind the service line. The competition's top scorer with 10 aces is put down. A sigh of relief as John Gord-Perrin works one back across the court. And for Sada Cruzeiro, that's a big threat. Very good from Conte to stabilize the pass on Leal's serve. It's exactly what they want. Perrin with a big serve of his own. Ryglitsky goes to the line, and the interesting thing here for Ryglitsky is that playing for Lube will certainly help him and calm his nerves, because playing on that right side is the point scoring position for any team in volleyball. But luckily for Lube, they have Leal, they have Bianek in your picture, Robert Landy Simon, and one trainer who also score an awful lot of points for this team. So as the blocking goes, they're not just going to have to worry about one player here, Sada Cruzeiro, they're going to have to worry about the whole court. Evandro! Robert Landy Simon, one trainer, double trouble on the wing. First big statements of this game. Playing long lines. Cruzeiro gets across very well. Simon. Bianek's awkward serving. Passing on point again, this time from Perrin. So far, the reception has been golden for Sada Cruzeiro. And that's how it's going to have to stay. Evandro on the 10 attack this time. 37 years old, Evandro, but shows no signs of letting up. Best server 2016-17 in the Brazilian league, but Bruno links up with Robert Landy, Simon. Trying to use the middle here, Lube, just to invest in it so they can go back to the wings and try and keep the likes of Liao, Monterena and Ryglitsky very much with one blocker. Santos! This has the absolute makings of a classic, it really does. Conte is fired up. He's being served so far inside, it almost takes him out of the offense, but he's concentrating purely on the pass. The pass is good, so they can use the middle. And now the server's got Lube rocked out of system. Bruno, stop it. 7 or 8 meters to find Monterena from way downtown. This is Lube working their way through the point. But then Sada Cruzeiro battling away as well. To the wing, sharp from Conte. Just one battle of what is going to be a long, long war here this afternoon in Brazil. Both teams, head-to-head, toe-to-toe. It's Conte that has the last laugh this time. Fernando again serving Monterena. Makes it difficult for Lube, but the tip is a good one. Lucas gets some evil eyes, doesn't he? How about that for a stare from the coach? Monterena goes through the seam. His body weight is looking that way. Maybe it's a little bit slow with the eyes of Lucas. Pass is back on point though. Speed this time to Evandro, who's getting set a large amount of the ball at the moment. Goes to Tall Town off of Robert Landy Simon. Remember, the women's came to an end earlier on, a win for a Moko volley against ex-Jakubasi. Service pressure so far for Sada Cruzeiro has been good, but Bruno, that absolutely stinks of class from the Brazilian. They're under pressure here. Look how straight the ball is, how off the net, and boom, finds Robert Landy Simon as if he's been there his whole life. Ridiculous. We're only at the first technical timeout, but this is the gift that just keeps giving.
Manteniamo pesado nosso saque. Manteniamo firme nosso saque. No, ma che ditelo agli esterni, che muro a 1, perché lui si è trovato con Perry, il muro a 1 si poteva buttare sulla diagonale. Vai, diamone animo! Ehi!
Both teams have started this game really well. The serving and passing of Sada Cruzeiro has been on point. Lube probably haven't quite passed as well as they would have liked to, but with Bruno pulling some strings, Monterena, Liao hitting their way out of system, they still scored points. Evandro is fired up. Played for Sada Cruzeiro since 2016 when signing from Suntory Sunbirds. Serve to position 2 on the pipe, and so far Conte gets a smile from Fernando. But Landy Simon with the serve. Just that pipe over the top of the middle, snapping back on the angle because the blocker is drifting from Binek. Robert Landy Simon and say, sorry, I didn't play defense there. Binek was the blocker. Santos. It's a great run through the pipe there from Sada Cruzeiro in the middle. They're just holding the middle through the pipe attack. It's not been easy for the Lube middle blockers as of yet, but they lead by 1. Litsky to serve, 23 years old. Sada out of system here, maybe they're not. What a run that is! 4 or 5 meters off the net. Fernando just turns on it, fires it, pure speed from the setter, and finds Otavio. The key to setting at this level is using the middle when nobody expects it. This game so far is lit. Evandro. In system now, Lube. Good pass. Litsky is just plucked. Speed for Perrin. Bieniek. They know they're crammed there, so they have to be quick to the outside to try and shift the blockers quickly and try and go off their hands. The slower that the setter plays there, the tougher it's going to be for Perrin. Liao, top server so far, 10 aces from 46 attempts. That's not a bad return. 1 ace in every 4.5 serves. There's another one, Monterrey. And for Lube, you have to think, is there a better team in the world at the moment? Who knows? We're about to find out, but is there a better team in transition? But once they make a dig, they can put the ball away. Liao again. Perrin this time off the net. Reverse play. Evandro. His ability to draw the ball through the body at speed. An absolute whip of an arm for somebody who's way over 2 meters tall. That's what it takes to play at the top level. Perrin. 2 big serves from him so far. Litsky, one-on-one for the opposite man. Again, that shows that Bruno is really thinking in the way that he runs his offense. Sada Cruzeiro. And you wouldn't blame them if they decided to worry more about Monterrey and Lille on the pipe and holding with the middle as well and leaving Litsky one-on-one for periods of time to see how he copes with the pressure this evening. Long serve. Sada Cruzeiro playing very well here, but they still find themselves one behind. Still need to make a break. Otavio has the opportunity to do just that, but to no avail. Santos in your picture. Brazil, a big chance of winning the Olympic gold and retaining their gold medal that they won in Rio 4 years ago in Tokyo, but Poland will be up against them. And if there's one person you don't really want to upset out here, it's Robert Landy Simon. It's a gentle giant, but still. Conte is having the argument. Was the last touch-off of Conte? Was it off of Litsky? Litsky has a little smile, but Simon has a little frown. Evandro can never stay away from a war of words either. Fernando. Monterrey the target once again at position 1. That means they have to go to the outside. It's very good serving this from Sada Cruzeiro, because if they can put Monterrey under pressure in the pass, Bruno has to go to Ryklitsky, and that's what they will want, Sada Cruzeiro, especially in this rotation when Ryklitsky is on the outside. Is there a touch off the block? Isaac Santos says absolutely. Interesting tactical battle here. You can see patterns developing in each rotation. And In this rotation, they're trying to keep the ball away from Monterrey and force Bruno's hand to the outside. Really opens up well with the upper body, Monterrey, doesn't he? It is Monterrey to serve. Straight towards Perrin, good pass from Perrin. Speed to Conte, just sitting on the edges, Bruno, just hopping into the ball, but no joy this time. The already legendary Brazilian setter. Conte, so far so good. Ace from Sada Cruzeiro. Monterrey beaten by Conte. A rip through the seam between Balassi and Monterrey, and the crowd are very much alive again here. So now we're back on side-out terms. That break back from Sada Cruzeiro certainly going to help them out in the long term here. Simon once more. Big serve out the back, and there's cheers, but sighs from the crowd as their former player, their former middle blocker. Bruno asks for concentration throughout these stages of the set. 1 point here sends us to the technical timeout. Isaac Santos. Strong passing from Balasso, Ryglitsky, once again one-on-one. It's good from Bruno to keep using him. Big game for the young opposite player, filling in for Amir Gafour. Otavio commits with Bianek. He has lots of different problems on his hands, Otavio, from Lube. One of them is Ryglitsky.
En el momento final del juego va a jugar más con puntero. Mantenámonos su saque. Sí, vamos firmes en nuestro saque. José firme de nuevo en un saque. Buscan un medio de la cuadra. Sí, después que desvíe para cualquier lado la bola. Vamos.
This game very much reminiscent as the first game between these two teams in this competition. Lube won 3-0, but the first two sets 25-23, 30-28, before running away with that final set 25-15. But it was a big serving game. Lube were pushed in the opening two sets to the edge. Ryglitsky to get us underway, serve out the back. Played for Mosaic as well, Ryglitsky. But this the biggest move for him, playing for the top club in Europe. Evandro. Big serve. Two looks at the court from Bruno before sending it to Leao. It's perfect. A round of applause from Evandro to his fellow countryman Leao. Playing now for almost a year for Brazil. People who think that the game is about hitting the ball steep, potentially very, very wrong. Lube lead by 1. The top server in the competition going again. Tight from Conte, it's a rare passing fault from him. It's not an error, that's for certain. In transition, Leao. The dig from Evandro, how about that one? Now he gets a chance to put the ball away on the pipe, but Balasso is stationary and still and watching everything. Looks as if there's been a decision on a net touch against Ottavio, but there might also be a challenge. Vandro just can't help himself, can he? Lube lead by 2 once more. That touch was the call. It's very close. On the way down, though, from Ottavio. There was a net touch. This might give us a slightly better look. Have a look at Ottavio on the way down. Not seeing much from that angle, actually.
Giocando del meglio fa French, va a giocare con quando Lena en los puntos finales, va a giocare con un meglio con quanto Lena. Fiquemo bien experto en eso para pisar más para French.
Can't really get away with a cheeky little bit of gamesmanship. Timeout is a good idea when Andy Leao is behind the service line. Anything they can do to just disrupt the momentum and the damage that he can cause. Lucas, what a pass that is! My word! It's gone to the car park! Monterrey is having a slight laugh. Fernando puts it in the path of Ottavio. That one's gone many a mile. Leao once more. And this is maybe the difference between the two teams. Not for the first time this week. Andy Leao just gets on a roll. And it's impossible to stop him. Two timeouts used from Sada Cruzeiro in this run of serves from Andy Leao.
Sabemos que no es fácil, tenemos que aprovechar la primera bola, galera. En cuanto tenemos la bola ahí donde tenemos que rodar o trabalharla bien la bola, en cuanto la tenemos. Estamos, el Iván y sacan forche siempre. ¿Sí? Tenemos que aguantar en medio y trabalhar bien no ataque, voltarla, jugarla, tener la paciencia cuando tenemos un pase bon.
Two timeouts used from Sada Cruzeiro. It's an unfortunate rotation for Sada as well because Fernando is at position 4, which is never advantageous as a setter to have to run across the court and then orchestrate the offense. That's a point for the Sada coach, as you can tell with Fernando and his glimpse to the bench. 3 points, what a run, double substitution. Rodrigo, number 6, is coming in with Luan. That's a substitute we've seen throughout the week. Just keeping 3 on the front court, keeping 3 attackers. Also, just protecting the Sada defense a little bit more as Luan will present more of a block than Fernando. Pairing with the missed serve, and where Andy Leao was so destructive, Perrin can't quite muster up the same run of serves. So Matthias Bienek, and it's really, really tough for Sada Cruzeiro because the two top servers in this competition coming into this game was Andy Leao and Matthias Bienek. They follow each other in the rotation. Luan faces the angle and hammers one to the line. Really nice off-the-body work from him. Good feet, great arm. Two substitutes teaming up on a quick tempo. Terrain disappointed, but it's a nice swing from Juan. Big serve, reactions from Bruno. It's be dug by Rodrigo. Lube are making a positive out of a negative situation here. Leao cuddles all round with Roberlandi Simon, but on the pipe once more, passing. Leao takes the middle. Roberlandi Simon on the wider play. It's unfortunate for Sada Cruzeiro, but Santos is worrying so much about Simon. He leaves the middle unguarded, and Leao is there to put the ball away. So there could be a challenge here for the foot of Leao. Attack line fault, I think, is what they're looking at. Absolutely no attack line fault from Leao. Everything poetry in motion from him. Bruno, another strong server in world volleyball, whether he's spinning or floating. But they rotate around very quickly. Sada Cruzeiro staying very much united within their pursuit of glory here today. Just that run from Yoandy Leao that's caused them a large amount of pain so far. Once again off the hands of Terrain. Milan serving, rocket. It's now Leao's turn to find out what it feels like to be rocked by a powerful jump serve. Palazzo, fantastic setting to Ryklitsky. Was there a touch is the question? No is the answer. Isaac Santos pleads innocent. Leao has put a few people on the floor, but now he's down there himself. Was there a touch? Looks as if we can see it for ourselves. Not from that angle. The crowd also can see the screen in the arena. No touch. Point to Sada Cruzeiro. Which then spurs a timeout from Lube.
Abbastanza forte, ok? Ragazzi, senza fretta, giochiamo la
two-time winners of the Champions League. Current champions of the Champions League. Four-time winners of the Challenge Cup. Five-time winners of the Italian Championship. Five-time winners of the Italian Cup as well. Dragan Stankovic was part of the team in 2009-2010, moved on this season to Piacenza. Placed by Bienek, but some servant for the team, Stankovic. Leao going to the pipe again, and maybe Sada Cruzeiro have rocked Lube here. Couple of missed side outs in a row. Liao, who's been humongous through the pipe all day long, falters finally. Back to one. Conte on the front with Evandro. Isaac Santos in the middle. It's a big blocking front line for Sada, but the run of serves comes to an end and Lube can remain calm. Maybe. Certainly done his job, Ryan coming off the bench. High fives for him, but 2-point game with Osmane, 1 Terena. Won this 4 times with Trentino. Service pressure and abundance once more for Lube. Conte, 2 up in the block. Robert Landy Simon, great work. As Liao has been rested for Jirikova, doesn't matter. Santos steers it to 1. Sada are in touch here. Felipe very much involved as well. Liao just rested for the moment. Jirikova in this team because of how strong he is in the reception phase of the game. Litsky gets the first touch. Isaac Santos, great setting from Fernando as well, facing one way and just fizzing it towards his 2-meter, 8-centimeter middle. Big moments here for Sada Cruzeiro, Facundo Conte, and you just would not put it past him. Big serve on one Terena. Liao back on at position 4, but they're out of system. Massive opportunity for the hosts here to draw level. They take it. High off the hands of Andrew. But Conte serving, once more leading the way. Timeout Lube. Pressure building here in Becim on the European champions. What a first set this one really is. Pushing them over the finish line. The timeout to try and disrupt Facundo Conte. But what is Conte saying? Conte is saying big serve at business time. Simon is saying robust swing at crunch time. This game shows no signs of letting up. Robert Landy Simon, formerly of Sada Cruzeiro, with an ace to seal the opening sets for Lube. Potentially, we go to a challenge first. What drama. Hawkeye, in or out? In! Robert Landy Simon, when Lube need him the most, goes back and hammers an ace. Lube looking for their first ever Club World Championship. Have a great start, and just like the first game in the pool stages between these two teams, Lube take it 25-23. Wow. What a time from Robert Landy Simon to go back and hit a serve with so much pace, power, accuracy. Cucine Lube through after Sada Cruzeiro worked so hard. It's a sign of what a high-level game this really is. It's fascinating already. There's a bit more life in both teams, though. There is the confirmation of that entertaining first set. I think everyone having to take a breath after watching that. There's some stats to go with it as well. Aces, especially that from Robert Landry, Simon. What a way to finish the opening set for Lube. That list it says that there's been a lot of errors made, but I don't think that's quite correct. But what we know is Sada Cruzeiro, all the way through this competition, have not been far behind Lube, but they still haven't won a set against them in the opening 4 opportunities. Set number 2 in the men's club world championships about to get underway. Tavio serving for Sada Cruzeiro, who works so hard to stay in touch. Liao out of system, Perrin set way downtown, out of court, playing out of court because he's just looking to react from that touch off the block. Another opportunity in system here. Litsky seems to be who they go to when they have the free ball and they can get him one-on-one. Against Conte that time. Leandro can't get underneath it. And look who's back behind the service line after serving an ace at 24-23 in set 1. Robert Landry, Simon, Cuban Championship in 2005-2006, and since then has just gone on to play around the world. Piacenza played for Al Rayyan in this competition to the 4th. Sada Cruzeiro 2016 to 2018 as well, before going straight to Lube after leaving. Sada Cruzeiro, we have fond memories of winning big titles alongside your Andy Leo. Speed is good, and it's excellent awareness from Sada Cruzeiro. They're under pressure there, so instead of slowing the game down and staying under pressure, they speed the game up to then try and put Lube under pressure. No approach from Conte. He was never going to hit that. He was only looking to go off the hands. They're loving it, Sada, aren't they? They actually lost their last domestic game before this competition, Sada Cruzeiro, and Conte said in the press that it was because they have one eye on this competition, and it was a bit unprofessional from them, but they promised to bounce back, and they certainly have. Speed from Bruno. My word. Every season, you just think that Bruno can't get much better, and then he does. A couple of looks to the outside to see where Leao is. He's not quite there, so he goes quick on Monterena. And Monterena catches Conte drifting. Litsky, jump serve from him. Big one as well to position one. Conte from the right side off the chest of Bruno, but it's frantic work from Sada Cruzeiro, playing fast once more. We are in for a treat. The game between these two teams in the pool stage. Oh, underneath the net, gets loads of lingering looks and cheers from the Lube players. Which then means that Marcelo Mendes is unhappy. First real big mistake we've seen from Conte. Leao. Conte out of system again. They're going to position one. Both teams at times, and that's potentially to try and stop Evandro from firing. They're really condensing the play over to the right side of court. It allows two blockers to get across fairly easily. Big shapes from Bianek and Monterena dropping inside. Leao proving and providing his very best from behind the service line at the moment. Another rocket from Leao. Weakness this time off the net passing, so Perrin has two up against him because of the time that Bianek gets to get across. And then Yoandi Leao scoring for fun. That's some effort to face the centre and then work off the body. Opens up really nicely. You're not digging that. You could have 35 players on court. None of them would get a touch on him. Credit to Bianek and how quick he is getting out in the block and double stacking. Leao once more. Hammer serve. Felipe put on the floor. It's very tight. A point with the overpass for Sada Cruzeiro. Bianek says, my bad. Problem is now that Yoandi Leao is in rhythm and now he's away from the service line for some time. On the floor, Felipe. But still, 1 point in the attacks column as well for the 39-year-old. Isaac Santos. Lube, as they have been throughout this game, always 1 or 2 in front. And in the previous match between the two in the pool as well, just always seem to have a slight advantage. Miss serve, 2 in a row. Leao, the service target, he's out of system. Bruno just has to try and play for safety, but this is where the best hitters in the world go into their own element. Monterena knows that he has to create something here. There's no speed on the play, there's 3 blockers against him, and he takes on Fernando. He knows he's the smallest blocker and goes over the top of him. Bruno. Side out though from Sada Cruzeiro, keeping their fans cheering, and also on their toes as well. Vandro so far, so good. Bruno on the pipe, seen by Tavio. He's trying to do a job. I'm watching not only Robert Landy Simon, but also Landy Leao. And it's so difficult to make decisions and commit in those zones. Stays away from Simon at the moment.
La bola, trazar un salto para tener más un contraataque. Damos un ataque, no enfrentemos, no dejemos caer la bola en un central, busquemos para afuera, busquemos trabajar. Cuando pasamos, que sacan por hielo, trabajemos con las manos de él y conseguir una acción mejor de juego. Vamos, Gonzalo, bora. Capricho agora, vamos embora.
Sada Cruzeiro, such a good side. They really are. It's been a pleasure to follow them throughout this competition. But again, Lube just seem to be one step ahead of them in every set. Post-timeout to serve once more. Lucas, often it has to go outside. There's no other option because the first pass was so far off. Andre from the right side. Some of the plays in this game, out of system, are out of this world. On the 10 attack, 3 in the block, still finds a solution. This is the frustration for Sada Cruzeiro, though. They win a big point, and then they give initiative straight back to Lube by serving into the net. And that just puts them under pressure again, because Robert Landy Simon, who once touched 3 meters 84 centimeters, well, according to his coach, actually around 389, serving. Too tight this time. You expect Bruno to put the ball on point from wherever he is on court, under pressure or not. Lube might just be slightly worried here. Overset, 3 up, 2 up in the block. Finally, Santos, Brazilian international, forces it straight back down. Through the centre, being it. Oh, hello. Lube are going crazy here. They have a challenge, so if they feel like they've been hard or harshly dealt with, there's a yellow card because of the reactions here. Casamaquela is got the yellow card out.
Pide challenge y listo. Eso mismo. Entonces, ahora te doy el challenge y se acabó la historia.
Casamaquela, although I don't quite understand exactly what he's saying, hey, there's no need to react. Just use your challenge. That's what they're there for. You don't need to go crazy anymore, because you can just refer the decision and then we get the honest answer. Was there a touch off the hand? There absolutely was a touch off of Isaac Santos, so there's no need for anybody to go crazy or throw their toys out of the pram. It's just referred. We get another look at it. Lube are fine. They still have 2 challenges left. No drama here. although Ferdinando Giorgi is still an unhappy bunny. Insistent, perfect passing, should be a side out. Absolutely there is Conte hammering the angle. Fast through that right side, off the head of Bianek, hello. Lube by 1. Very similar story to the opener. Conte serving. So this is a threat to Lube and their passing unit. And that slows the game down. The opposites in the pass here. Lidski as well. Transition. This is to go back all square. Okay. Game on. Fernando uses the middle every time he possibly can because he's got Isaac Santos, pound for pound, one of the best in the world in this position. He has a height advantage against Bianek as well. Conte once more. Still looking as if he's trying to steer that one to position 1. Bruno, talking after the semi-final win yesterday, was saying they have to be careful because Sada Cruzeiro is such a strong side. Yeah, how long? That's a huge moment in this game. The competition's toughest server fires long. A breath for the Kenyan, Lucas Deluche, the libero, who is filling the big shoes of Sergio. For some time now, Brazil, but he's for many the best that's ever worn that shirt. Pancake from Fernando, goes the outside. Lipe recycling from him. Tavio can't find the floor either. Bruno flipping at 8 or 9 meters. They have to be patient, Lube, throughout that rally. And who do they go to? Speed, width, trying to lose the blockers from Bruno. Monterrey is ready and waiting. He's played for Lube since 2015, Monterrey. But the side out, straight back. Sada Cruzeiro. Well, they have all the fight in the world. Confidence is building here as well. Evandro. Sada would give just about anything for a big service run here. The output on the floor once more, but his arms stay really firm and stable. Monterrey rattles one through the block of the Brazilians. Evandro on the 10. They needed that. The touch looks like they might have been given against Monterrey. Monterrey is saying that he's innocent, so they can go straight to the challenge system once more, or is one trainer admitting to it? He absolutely is. Not to start with, one trainer. Interesting. Wanted that decision. Evandro flying through. And then he pleads innocence, but he might just be guilty off that little finger. Bit cheeky from one trainer, saying, no, I didn't touch it. And then saying, actually, boys, I did. They wanted the decision to go their way, but they also didn't want to throw a challenge at it, Lube. Some gamesmanship. Evandro. Big moments. Sada Cruzeiro just need to find that run of 2 or 3 or 4 from the baseline that's going to pause Lube, but Lube is still in touch with Bruno serving. What a career he's had, Bruno. A serve from Bruno Resende, the son of Bernardinho and Vera Mossa. Mother, a 3-time Olympian, father, a silver medalist of the '84 Olympic Games, but really well known in his coaching as being the best for many that's ever lived. But Robert Landy Simon is stopped. Sada Cruzeiro are now rocking and rolling. Gets one over Robert Landy Simon. Stops him turning that ball back to 1. Very good blocking. Difficult for Simon, even at his height, to work it to position 5. Lube know that they have to pull their socks up a little bit here. As per usual, giving everything they've got to support this Brazilian cause. Felipe. Ace from Felipe, surely now gives Sada Cruzeiro the belief they need to see this one home. Palazzo beaten for speed. Brazilians have big, big hearts and big voices. Both can be very much felt here at the moment. Sada Cruzeiro since 2010, won multiple South American club championships. He's been part of the squad that has won 3 of these competitions. Lightning striking twice here in Beckham, and look what it means to Felipe. This is what they needed to grow in stature and confidence. A run of serves that has sent a shudder down the spine of Lube. Hugs from Evandro. Some empathy from Leao to Palazzo, who came into this team replacing Jemia Dremenikov, the French libero. At the start of last season. Felipe looking for ace number 3. Palazzo must be feeling the pressure in that libero position for Lube at the moment. Gets his arms on this one, but they're still off the net. Monterrey finds a side out. Galasso gets some support from Bruno. Bruno will be happy enough with that after missing the last two. Galasso, I think, crucial that Lube just sided out and got the ball into an area where Bruno could work the ball and work some magic. Monterrey. Fascinating, the psychology here between the two teams. Sada Cruzeiro have a big run behind the service line, and then the big guns from Lube start to falter. Tavio, who's in and out of the Brazilian side. Leal, perfect passing. It's a good option to go back to Bruno as the play shifted right to left the second time around. Lube's biggest threat stopped. Bruno tries to play quick under pressure. First time the continuation, wonderful from Isaac Santos to get across. Second time, it's speed from Bruno. Conte has the final say. Stepping up again, the Argentinian. Galasso again passing off the net. Leao again stopped, this time. Fernando, 1 meter, 85 centimeters. Gets across to get the three-man block up on you, Andy Leao. What are we watching here? We're watching Sada Cruzeiro playing with heart, class, and desire. Passing off the net, Lube. They've made a habit of being good out of system, but it's a hat-trick of blocks. It's Conte again. Lube have been rocked. And if this second set was a boxing match, the referee would have stopped it. The European champions are going to a place we haven't seen them go yet in this competition. Robert Landy Simon goes long. They're looking for a touch, it's already been given. Robert Landy Simon needs some aces, but pressure is building. It's a funny game, this, as Robert Landy Simon serves an ace at the back end of the opener. Just when Lube need a run here. Two service errors in a row. So much drama. And there's still so much action left in this game. Ryglitsky to serve in this opposite position. Earlier in the week, he spoke about how there was much more to come from him. While Lube, as they've struggled to pass, that's why Jerry Cover has come in for Leao once more, which looks he really needs to find some joy, but no. Conte. Has been relentless here this afternoon. Formerly of Shanghai, Skrabel Hatov, Krasnodar as well. This is a big evening for Conte, the Argentinian. Bruno currently off the court as well, which means that Lube are very much planning for the next set. Monterrey. Back in rhythm. Gafour is back on just for the second time in this competition too. Jirikova serving. Good serve from Jirikova. Libero puts it into the perfect spot. Felipe is shut down. He's just recycling the ball. He's not in to score so many points. He's in to pass and serve well. He's done exactly both of those. Monterrey off the shoulder of Conte. We are in a battle here. Conte playing position 5. Leguinia hovering at the back, watching for the touch. Kova again. Good run from the substitution, but that comes to an end, and Sada Cruzeiro have set points. Brazilian international Isaac Santos serving for the second set. Big serve on Monterrey. The Hosh goes to Gafour. He's dug. But that's one back. They don't need any injuries, especially to someone who is as influential as Isaac Santos to their side. Speed from the Belgian. The host. Great handling skills, the second set of Lube. Matthias Bienek needs a world-class run of serve. Second best server in this competition, serving to keep Lube in this second set, one that has been all about Sada Cruzeiro. The ball goes long, and we are back to 1-1 here in the gold medal match of the Club World Championships. Three-time winners, Sada Cruzeiro, have got this place and this house absolutely rocking. Some big performances from Conte, Santos, Fernando, Evandro have got them right back in the mix. And really, for Lube, this is the first time in the competition that their first 7 have been troubled. Passing woes throughout mean they have it all to do to get back into this game. We are tied at 1-1. And it could not be any more entertaining. Confirmation of the second set, 25-19. Sada Cruzeiro picked up a lot of speed by Felipe serving from the baseline. Galasso starting to become more vulnerable. Lube never recovered. Errors flowed after that run of serves from Sada Cruzeiro's Felipe. Stats, 11 attacks to 12 for Sada Cruzeiro. Errors are the same. More blocks for Sada Cruzeiro. where Lube have just served every other team off the courts this week. Sada Cruzeiro, this was their turn to do the same to the European and Italian champions. Many people's favourites for this competition, Lube, but Sada Cruzeiro are starting to ask some very firm questions to a Lube side that haven't lost in the domestic league. Set 3 underway of this Club World Championship final. Great start for Sada Cruzeiro. Bruno waves on to get the floor dealt with. Simon starting, Leao as well, Wantarena, Litsky, Balasso, same for them. It looks as if Felipe keeps his place in the side above Gord Perrin. So the Canadian, after being substituted in the previous set, still off, but Felipe is giving a lot in terms of his passing and serving. Wantarena from the inside, back to one more. It's the pass that Lube are discussing in detail here, trying to organise everything. Leao, backcourt receiver at the moment, so he'll be looking to get involved in the pipe attack, but he'll want Balasso trying to take as much as possible off of his plate so he can focus on the offensive duties. Monterena. Strong again from Conte. He's been very stable, and Evandro has been very, very aggressive, even from the backcourt. Fascinating stuff now, because the adrenaline really, really high, but Leao is pinching in to worry about the middle attack, leaving Evandro alone a little bit, but it takes a good play from there for Sada Cruzeiro still to score. Leao passes out of system, but from his height can still find solutions. And that's going to mean everything going forward. Lube renowned for just being big out of system, muscling out other teams when the odds are against them. Robert Landy Simon. Huge serve. Conte again passing, not perfectly, but stable enough to get the middle in for Sada Cruzeiro. And then the back set, Conte is proving to be a little bit of a wizard out there. Passing well, he knows he has Leao right on him, so he has to chip over the top. Unfortunately for Lube, Robert Landy Simon is playing defense, and someone of... If Balasso was there, potentially he would have dug it, but once more it shows how smart that is from Conte to know who he's got against him and how he can still score points. Evandro through, touch off of the block, absolutely not this time. Litsky. And this isn't the well-oiled Lube machine that we've seen brush past every other side this week. Sada Cruzeiro need to keep finding ways to apply this pressure. Isaac Santos. Leao once again rocked. Litsky chasing over the advertising boards. Praise in the effort from Bruno, but this is all about the service pressure of Isaac Santos. It really is. Leao, who's been replaced already by Jirikova in this game for a more stable passing unit. This is a big serving. Absolute macho game from the service line at this moment in time. High from Conte. Fernando had to play the first ball. Conte steps in, it goes wide to Leao. He's almost dunked again. There's a net touch somewhere against someone. Evandro is saying no, Leao is saying yes. Leao wants the Georgie to go to a challenge. Hold on to your hats. Tip. Question is, was it antenna or was it block antenna? This is so close. Antenna, then the hand, it looks from here. Zenit Kazan in the background watching everything. Almost looks like the touch of the antenna and the hand came at the same time. Maybe antenna first. Looks as if the fault is from Leao, so the point goes to Sada Cruzeiro. Waiting for that final decision though from the officials. That's exactly what happened. Isaac Santos on a dream run here, serving Sada Cruzeiro 3 in front. The break in play at least maybe just cause a halt to the focus of Santos and brings Yoandy Leao back to the service line. Lube really need their top server of this competition to come back to the forefront of this game, and he does with an ace. No digging that one. The height, the pace, the accuracy. Felipe says no thanks, not today. Can you get to serve any more perfect than that? Yeah, 2 big serves in a row, but Lucas Delouche puts that one on an absolute plate. Evandro feasts, but Bruno plays defense. Monterreyna looks to go off the hands. The chase is on. And you can see how much pressure Lube have been under, because you're seeing the reaction in their players now when they win big points. Leao. Another big serve, but off the net band just brings a bit of pace off the ball and helps the passing unit. 4 touches. Monterreyna uses the post as a punch bag. Now. It's when they want Monterreyna. He's just lost his focus slightly. It's another indication that Lube are not getting everything their own way. Bianek is frustrated with his bump set as well. He shows everyone that with the slam dunk into the floor. Chance for Bianek to make amends from behind the service line. 7-7, 1 point takes us to the technical timeout. Nothing between these two teams in this, the final match of the competition. Was there a way through? Might have a challenge here. Facundo Conte is sure that he got past Robert Landy Simon here. The point's been given to Sada Cruzeiro. Hernan Casamaguela certainly in a position of pressure in this big game.
manteniamo il nostro saque e nel momento della decisione va a giocare para
around as it's about
sì,
30
però mantenga il
degrees
nostro
around here.
saque
Alexander asking for
firme.
the doors to be open in the gym. Try and let some air in. Now it's Randy Leal's turn to share his concerns with Casamapuela. This has presented us with the match that we all wanted to see, let's be honest. So rotation 6 by the looks of it. Depends where the centre is. Andre's been told he's in position 6. Felipe is serving. A great run in the opening set. He could do the same again. Leao is getting so much of the service pressure off the spin serve. Wiklitsky, who's not had much of the ball as of late, just continues another one. Evandro on the 10! And look who's waiting patiently. Robert Landy Simon takes a couple of steps out to position 3.5 or 4. Gets across, teams up with Juantorena, and it's actually Juantorena that stops Evandro going to the line. Lube are starting to get their elbows out here and battle. Speed. It's good. Fernando, pat on the back from Ottavio. Makes that ball travel 7 or 8 meters. Puts the blockers under pressure, dropping inside. Conte scores again. Had a good game for Kundo Conte up till now, but needs to keep this going if Sada Cruzeiro want to go in front. Ottavio. Long. Juantorena. Some good runs of serves throughout this event. Hasn't quite got going on one in the final yet. Isaac manages to react and just turn. He wasn't supposed to be in the pass, but had to take some responsibility. Free ball, this should go to Lube surely. Leao is stopped again. He has a mismatch against Fernando, and the second time it's utilised over the top. It's a rotation really that should see Leao get quite a lot of ball. The height advantage he has over the blocker here. Juantorena. It's another go for him behind the service line. This time into the nets. And Leao has at least a 15-centimetre advantage over the blocker, but if you have a look at the rotation now, Fernando comes around to serve, so Evandro is back at the net, and he will be wanting desperately to do a job on Yoandy Leao. Leao the service target, they're giving him a lot of pressure, Leao, and he passes on such a good angle that he makes Isaac Santos take a couple of steps to his left before Bruno fires it back to Leao. And Santos has to move back to his right. It opens up a split in the block, and then Leao has a easy seam. Sorry, Isaac committed with Robert Landy Simon. He won't be the first or the last middle to commit with Robert Landy Simon, who's now back to serve. Conte passing perfectly again, Isaac Santos. There's another one of these Sada Cruzeiro players who's playing superbly well up to this moment. Still a lot of time left though in this game. Conte. The form in the side of Lube today. Serving again on Leao. He's getting so much of the ball. He gets it back again. There's a lot of pressure on Andy Leao. They're saying it's in, and he's really risen to it. Good sportsmanship from Felipe. He says it was in as well, so it looks as if this one will be reversed back to Lube. So they've called the challenge, but they quite possibly will keep their challenge as well. Looking for a touch, not the in and out, although Felipe also said that the ball might have been in with his body language. Another one that gets turned around. Litsky to serve. This so far potentially the biggest game of his career. Plants a little kiss on the ball before serving a little float serve towards Felipe. He's one-on-one against Bruno. Balasso is there to make the scoop. Leao again is seeing quite a lot of ball now because Bruno is on the front court as well, but there's a counter from Sada Cruzeiro. Isaac Santos yet again. And this is a really good rotation, or it's just come to an end for Sada Cruzeiro. The bonus for them is that Isaac Santos is in great form front court and behind the service line. And he serves again, high toss jump serve from Santos into the net this time. Gets a chance to have a rest before coming back in. Monterrey rotates around onto the front court. Andy Leao, I think that means is behind the service line, absolutely. Hold on tight, these are big moments, and these are set-defining moments that then move on to match-defining moments and how these players are remembered within the game. Andy Leao. Big serve from Andy Leao! To open up a 2-point lead. Lube's best server of this competition delivers another crushing blow to Sada Cruzeiro and another clear message for them. Timeouts from Sada Cruzeiro.
Más afastado, lo juega en entrada, puede ser que alguno con pase bon juegue medio para atrás, el pase afastó un poco, está jugando todo en entrada, juega con Leal y con Cantorena, ahí es donde tenemos que fechar, ¿sí? Solamente la entrada está jugando, vamos, fiquemos bien expertos, a tener la bola de él.
Andy Leao in his tracks, try and slow him down. Receiving some treatment, that's never a good sign for Lube. Lube have never won this competition. It's the one thing missing from their trophy cabinet. Andy Leao. Great timeout from Marcelo Mendes. These sorts of decisions will make such a difference from the side. Vandra now back to serve, who needs to try and find a break. They're not desperate, Sada Cruzeiro, that's for sure. Zenit Kazan at the back of the court here, spectating Andrew with the serve. Balasso out of system. No middle this time from Bruno, but out of system. Once again, this is when Lube come knocking because of Monterrey and Leao. They can create something from nothing with the stability that comes with the hands of Bruno. Quite perfect still from Balasso, but it's improving. BNX still running down the middle, but Ottavio, the middle from Sada, knows it's not going to him. BNX now serving. Serve again. Conte, who has been near on perfect until the last couple of minutes when he started to pass 1 or 2 out of system. This is another big moment. I'm sure there's a touch Sada Cruzeiro. Go straight to the challenge from Casamiquela. Touch, no touch. Lube will run.
Così, tranquilli per la foto.
Se la palla è staccata,
They look slightly more relaxed. Lube. Calf of Bruno still not perfect. Megafor driving the team forwards from the sideline. That back injury keeping him out, but he has such a big role to play for Lube's season. Matthias Bienek with this really awkward, fast, slightly spinning serve. That's underway. Conte back on the mark. Makes the game really easy for Fernando when Conte just holds his platform like that and steers the ball in front of the setter at 3. Rodrigo coming in. It's a double substitution for Sada Cruzeiro. Maybe he's been effective in there as well. Felipe, who went on a hot streak behind the baseline in the previous set, looks to go there again. Reactions from Lube! But the block comes down on their own side of the court from Sada Cruzeiro. Everyone there's looking around, waiting for the referee's decision. Ferocious stuff here. Conte serves short to try and affect his rhythm in the approach, but it doesn't affect Ottavio, who's becoming more and more apparent in this game, taking more notice of Sada's number 4 as this game progresses. Conte getting served so much ball, trying to really overload the Argentinian, who's been on great form. Trying to keep the ball away from Felipe, who's been brought in to pass. So it makes a lot of sense to go after Conte because Felipe, specialist in reception, but also Conte more of an attacking threat than Felipe as well. Monterrey, great setting from Bruno, covering 9 meters of the court. This time it's a much shorter set to Monterrey, and Monterrey brushes the ball away from the body to the line. committed with Robert Landy Simon that time. Left one to Reina. Into the net. Lube is still just leading by 2, but this one is very much in the balance. Lube know that. Luan, the substitute, will serve and then disappear. No setter on the court, so Lucas has to jump in. 2 and 3 in the block from Lube. Another opportunity. Felipe doing the damage, finding Evandro. It's great work from Sada without their setter to still put Lube under pressure here in transition. Evandro now high to the stick to Conte. It's great ball control, but that is very Brazilian style. They're all taking responsibility without Fernando or Rodrigo on the court. They're back to 1. Conte stays high off the hands. 1 to Reina, sitting deep at 6. It's a great touch, isn't it? The net touch. It looks as if
Cambiamo il primo tempo, andiamo a fare la 2 a 2, c'è qualcos'altro? Perché sta saltando sempre e ti sta prendendo. O fai quella che vuoi un pochino di
still in the balance.
perché si mette il seno davanti. Vai, andiamo ragazzi. Vai. Andiamo.
Driving forward there, Robert Landy Simon with the left hand. Luan is certainly doing his job as the second opposite here. Still scoring points. They have Evandro on as well, so they have a double threat, but still no setter because they just want to make the most of Luan. Fernando Pelling is ready to be announced for the game once more after this run of serves, and the toss is too far into the corner. You can see the celebrations from the Italian side. Lube. What a game so far. Sada Cruzeiro. Ricova is in now as well. Stani's come in for 1 to Reina in the passing unit. Leao is on the front court, so potentially it's just to take the pressure off of Leao and allow him to unleash on the front court. There's a dig from Bruno. High play from Robert Landy Simon to find Leao. Leao on the front court. Robert Landy Simon playing at position 6 for this rotation, but Sada score once more and we're back to 1 again. Simon leaves the court for Balasso. Conte. What a game he's having. Goes to Tooltown off of Leao. Changing the path of the ball. Off the outside hand. 1 point at a time for Sada Cruzeiro. Conte. Another big serve. They're looking for Yoandi Leao every time they can when he's on the front court. The setting is tight, and it's smuggled through. Conte thinks that Sada should have blocked it. The blockers think that the defense should have taken it. Perrin is in on the front court as well. That's where the mix-up is. They decide to go for a down ball at the last possible minute. Conte's job is to patrol the backcourt. Potentially, the blockers should have stayed up and shot down Leao. But the missed serve keeps them in the game. Perrin, haven't seen for a while. He's come back in to add a little bit of offensive power to the team. Felipe's done a fine job, but they're going to need to split the net throughout the closing stages of set number 2 with some big players out there. Tavio on the front court, Evandro, but now they have a split at the net with Perrin and Evandro as well. Perrin on the spin. Nando goes back to Evandro. The block is up, but it's out of play. We are back, all tied. We're level in Becim. Sada Cruzeiro playing in their home hall in front of 6,000 home fans. Never know when to give up. Leao told once more off the outside hand. Isaac Santos serving with conviction once more. To Leao, who's been stopped by Otavio and Evandro. Lube are not having this their own way. Their lead has gone, and Sada Cruzeiro go one in front in the closing stages of set number 3. The volume has increased again. Santos deciding to float serve this one post timeout because of the break in play from Lube. Doesn't quite work out for Santos. You can see that he's angry because in his mind, he now thinks that he should have just gone for the serve. Leao in system, over the top. Is this the most important time of set number 3? Yoandi Leao has just been blocked out by Otavio, but now he has a chance to silence his former team and fans who are booing him here in Becim. It's a big first serve. The chase is on for Evandro. Oohs and ahs here by the crowd. Palazzo doesn't know whether to play it. He gets out of the way and the tide has turned once more. Yoandi Leao never stays quiet for too long. Lukasz will be disappointed to throw a free ball out the back at this time. Timeout now for Sada Cruzeiro. Mendes asking for a little bit more care on the ball. What a game. It really has been everything we wanted and a little bit more. Timeout now to stop this onslaught from Yoandi Leao. The fans are still booing him because he left Sada Cruzeiro after winning this competition 3 times. Leao, this is another rocket. Lukasz does well to get on. It's a perfect pass. It's a perfect play from Sada. Just when they need it the most. Challenges up. Ferdinando De Giorgi is not happy. Conte says no way. Leao with a rocket. So relaxed in the platform from the libero. It's put on point. And Conte screaming through. The question is, did he interfere with play? Did he go underneath the net? Conte says no. What a play. what's coming next. You've got Yoandy Leal serving the leather off the ball from the baseline. You have the Brazilian libero passing it perfectly. And then Conte linking up with Fernando on the pipe. Has another tough decision to send up to the challenge referee. Really was almost play of the day that from Sada Cruzeiro, because Yoandy Leal served that with so much potency. Much of a look at this, are we? I'm wondering what's going to happen next. Evandro's been forced to be reckoned with. The official review says that foot is a fault because it's just a heel on the line. Evandro is obviously upset because they feel there's absolutely no problem with that from Conte. Must be by the narrowest of margins. That's unbelievable. Luckily we have that technology. We still have problems with Sada Cruzeiro, who might just say that the point had finished by the time that Conte went underneath the net. That could be their view on things, but big decisions, because it was a world-class play from Sada Cruzeiro.
Está bien, pero no toca en ningún lado la pelota. A ver, si toca acá, es fuera. Mientras está volando la pelota, él toca acá, al costado.
So Evandro is upset because he thinks this is an absolute assumption, by the way. This isn't concrete evidence, so you don't have to agree with me. But I think Evandro's problem was thinking that the call was for an attack line fault from Conte, but it's actually because he went underneath the net. Point goes to Lube. And Yoandy Leal is back behind the service line. It's big news. It's a game-changing time because Sada thought they had that one in some style that would have changed the momentum of this game, but it brought them level and also giving them a big spur of confidence. Pairing the target, 2 down. Conte again on the pipe. Fixed it that time, Sada Cruzeiro. Same run of play. Yes, the pass was a lot straighter. Reverse pipe, middle committed to Zanzani, going with Ottavio, leaving gaps for Conte. Great offense run by Sada Cruzeiro. Another ginormous moment in this game as the opposite spiker, Evandro, gold medalist from the Olympic Games, looks to turn this around once more. Big serve, but Lasso out of system. One Terrain is back on court, goes off the block. Lucas with the touch, on the 50 now! Oh my word, did that touch the floor? Yes, it did. What have we just seen? Evandro having served a rocket. With Fernando at position 4, it meant they had no width, so Evandro had to go to the left side and hit from the backcourt. Genius from Sada Cruzeiro, trying to protect their team in the block and still give them width in the offense. All. Step on up again of Andrew. This time out the back. Ferdinando De Giorgi, big celebrations. What is going to happen next? Bieniek trying to stay warm, but competition's second best server now. Set point up. The whole crowd. Look at them, so tense in here. Hands by their mouths, every single one of them, because the tension is unbearable. Matthias Bieniek serving to send Lube 2-1. What a serve, but it's a great pass. They're insistent. Conte! His passing means Evandro rips one to the line. Good volleyball, all round, world class. Big serving, great passing, smart spiking. Now in overtime. Too clear. Lasso passing off the net once more. One to Reina looking to find a solution. This time playing at 5 the opposite. Unbelievable. Evandro now playing defense, and look who's back on the front court. Put your crash helmets on, Sada Cruzeiro. Robert Landi, Simon is back in town. Quick play through the arms of Ottavio. Celebrates with Bruno. And now it is Bruno serving the second set point to go 2-1 up here, and through goes Conte. High stakes, high level, edge of your seat entertainment. Goes up super quick, slows the arm down, finds a solution. Unpredictable Conte. $25 all. Ottavio. Ace from Ottavio! Turns this one around once more. Fernando! Running around in celebration. What a time for Ottavio to go back and put pressure on Balasso and Leao. Balasso not happy with Leao. And after saving 2 set points, it's Sada Cruzeiro now with the chance to go 2-1 up, but Ottavio went for the short one to no avail. And maybe the most experienced player on court here will see Lube through. Osmane one to Reina. It's a great serve right through the centre of the court, but it's blocked out. It's agonisingly close for Lube, but it's great for Sada Cruzeiro. Conte again. Is doing everything he can to see his team through. Credit. This time Balasso puts it into a great spot there, a little bit out of system. Big opportunity. opportunity now for Sada Cruzeiro. Conte again, can he deliver? Not yet, but from off the net now, Leao to stay in the set. Leao, high, off the hands we go again. Evandro says yes, there was a touch, even though there's over 6,000 locals saying no. Huge. Big touch off the hand, Leao scores. Don't know what that is on the floor. Hopefully nothing's been thrown towards Robert Landy, someone who used to play for Sada Cruzeiro before cancelling his contract. 27-all. Robert Landy Simon scored an ace to win the opening set here. He's gone long this time. It would be very fitting for Facundo Conte to seal this third set after staying calm in the past, creative offensively, has a chance to put this set to bed. They're out of system. Very tight setting. Leao has to create something here. Conte with the dig. A swing for it through Evandro. A little bit of luck off of Isaac. Conte on the turn is dog. Balasso does well. Leao again, off the hands. My word, I think this is why we love the game. Silence in the crowd because Lube somehow finds something from somewhere. A magical touch off of Isaac Santos earlier on in the rally, but Leao is staying so high. Fernando on the pipe, Conte scores again. He has been clutch. Conte has been out of this world. Isaac Santos has had a glorious game. But both teams have had multiple opportunities to see this one through. Isaac Santos now goes long. Andy Leao once again. Lube's toughest server, the competition's toughest server, scores an ace and it turns around once more. Big players come to the forefront of big games when their teams need them the most. Once again, the crowd of Sada Cruzeiro sums up the tension that everyone is feeling. Leao once more, goes again, another big touch, it's an overpass from Lucas. It's a really tentative touch, one to Reina! Finally, brings an end to the third set with a tip over the top. But it's Yoandy Leao serving that is the difference between the two sides. It needed somebody to step up and apply pressure from the baseline. Two in a row, knocked the stuffing out of Sada Cruzeiro. And the experience of Juan Terena to stay calm under pressure He's won this competition 4 times before, and maybe he's just given Lube the advantage once again. What a game. (31-29). That even beats the 30-28 that we have between these two teams earlier on in the week in the pool stage. But this is easily the best game of this entire competition so far. We still think there's some big moments coming our way. Well, confirmation. Lube take third set, 31-29. Just like first set, everyone here needs at least 5 minutes to calm down a little bit and get their breath back. Some stats. So far, there you have it. Blocks, Sada Cruzeiro, aces, Lube, attacks. Very, very close as well. Who served an ace to potentially turn the whole set around in set 3, but it was to no avail as we get underway in set 4. Monterrey out of system. Bruno has to really fire that one back. It's some set. They're sure that's in. Maybe we've got a challenge from Monterrey. Nando is sure it's out of Andro also. We really don't want a poor start here, Lube. Not far away, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. High fives and fist bumps between the two teams. Monterrey is certain. Monterrey is wrong, and Lube have already had a poor start to this first set because they've lost a challenge and they've lost the first point. Conte needs to do his shoelaces up. Conte and Santos have been absolutely sublime. Tavio again. Big serve once more. Balasso! Put on the floor. And we're not seeing that shorter spin serve from Tavio anymore. He's going high pressure, big power. Balasso is been identified as a service target. Once again, off the net. Robert Landy Simon is a long way away, but Monterrey is certainly in the game. Fernando with the knuckle, but there's an interference with the net and the antenna as well, but they're applauding the intent to try and get that ball onto the net so they can attack. Feel that Sada Cruzeiro really need a good start here. Balasso touches the ball to the wrong side of the sideline. Looks as if there might have been a change, actually. My mistake of Libero. Andrea Marchisio is in. Second serve behind the baseline. Felipe this time, he started with Conte on the wing, so still no pairing. Evandro, Santos, Fernando all starting. Monterrey is getting a high percentage of the ball here. No decision given, but the ball goes out the back. Lube are aware of how much a big start to this set means to them, but also if they can manage to get Evandro faltering, it's going to mean the world, or the World Club Championship. Same thing. Bruno. Third one, bringing Conte in short, trying to get him out the attack. Evandro. Oh dear, for Sada Cruzeiro. And they really need the 37-year-old to step up and score points. There's 2 quick errors. There's enough time for him to reinvent himself, though. He's one-on-one, and he knows that Monterrey can feel him and his presence in the block. This time a standing float serve, trying to catch Sada Cruzeiro out off the head of Simon. And quick to Monterrey, they're trying to do everything quick and unsettle the Brazilian side once more. Bruno, the opportunist, behind the baseline. Robert Landy Simon with a massive touch off the forehead. You have to feel sorry for that volleyball. It's going to be hurting for some time after hitting Robert Landy Simon. Spin serve long from Fernando now. Monterrey, so consistent. Lucas perfect. Santos gets himself back into the game. Robert Landy Simon says, my bad. Georgie looks a little bit more unimpressed. Conte serving, back set to Robert Landy Simon. Felipe, 3 up! There is no getting past those 3 blockers for Felipe. There's not many people in the world who could get past Leao and Simon on that right side of court. Simon, huge play. Overpass from Sada Cruzeiro, and you feel that at this moment in time, that if they were going to upset Lube and win this gold medal, they would have done it in the previous set. It's not quite as consistent now for Sada Cruzeiro. They need to dig deep, but Robert Landy Simon is behind the service line. Isaac Santos, good serving though. There's big opportunity here for Sada Cruzeiro, taken. Maybe I'm going to be made to eat my words here as they gain some solid momentum back through Otavio in the middle. It's extremely good. Connection between the setter and Bianek is not perfect. It gives Cruzeiro a chance. Santos, big serve, but Monterrey absorbs it. It's so calm. Lasso now, Leao. It's tight, and he knows he has to look for the hands. And he goes straight for the hands of Evandro. Technical timeouts popped around again. It's Lube that lead by 2.
Preparado para atacar un contraataque en un medio también. Fiquemos bien experto eso. Estamos jugando mejor vóley, galera. Estamos jugando mejor vóley. Vamos. Porque está pensando en mí.
Twice, Sada Cruzeiro have beaten Zenit Kazan in this competition. Zenit Kazan in the background there wearing blue, watching very closely. Conte into a good zone. Ottavio is starting to get more and more ball because he's playing a more proactive role in this game, behind the service line, blocking and hitting as well. Also, Felipe is on the front court, so he won't see as many sets. Felipe, he's in there to do a job with the passing unit. High stakes volleyball this. Yoandi Liao. 2 big serves at the end of the previous set. So many big runs in this competition. He goes again. Is there a better server in the world right now than Yoandi Liao? Being it once again, thrashed off the hands. Wider play, making the blocker move. Makes it more difficult for him to get his hands into a good zone. High play, 3 up in the block. Monterrey knows his avenue, and that's to take on Krelling, who's still camping at position 4 because they're just trying to hide him in the block and let Conte try and do a job on Monterrey. Long serve. Just lost a little bit of his effect, which is Bianek, who's perfect middle player to play alongside Robert Landy-Simon because he's so quick getting out to block. He does so much great work off the ball, the Polish middle blocker. Davio's serve gets Lube moving once more. It's been a tough week for both sides. Remember, 3 games in the pool, 1 semi-final and 1 final, with only 1 rest day, so that's a heavy schedule. Bruno with a serve. Felipe is placing the pass the wrong side of the sideline, and the error comes again. They're looking for a touch here, Sada Cruzeiro. Maybe that's some accountability for Monterrey, maybe not. Maybe he's asking Sada Cruzeiro to challenge it. Very good, trying to get the ball out. Stop the ball coming through position 2 with their serving. High play from Monterrey. Lucas pops ball in, it's a free ball to the middle, huge. That's what happens if you give free balls at this level. They come back with a little bit on them. short play, but Monterena is done. To bring it back to 1. Bruno once again playing defense, staying disciplined. Litsky hasn't seen so much of the ball in this set, but then he makes a block with Robert Landry-Simon. Big contribution. Georgie celebrating, but they still have a lot of work to do. Monterena. Most valuable player in this competition 4 times already. Doesn't need to prove his worth on a volleyball court to anybody, but that wider play to position 1 is very strong from Sada Cruzeiro. Conte needing a run behind the baseline. He's had a great competition, Conte. For some people, deserving of MVP. Santos can't be far behind him, nor can Yoandy Leal. But missed serves will cost the Brazilian 3-time champions of this competition very, very dearly. Janic. Landry-Simon to serve. Served that ace in the opening set. A couple here would really help Lube, but he's taken his foot off the gas. Santos, big server to big time. Balasso, really well covered from the libero, but there's a net touch against Yoandy Leal. 1 back for Sada Cruzeiro, who will be very happy that this has just got a little bit scrappier. Perrin trying to up the ante in here as well. Luan is on. Lots of changes for Sada. But it's Isaac Santos once more who's posing a big threat behind the baseline. Monterena off the net, no middle this time. Leal, my word. The speed of the play, the height from Leal. Lube need 1 more to go to the technical, and they will want to do that 3 in front. It would be huge for them. Slight seam open for Leal. Litsky now going for the float serve. Maybe some tight legs out there from Lube and Sada, but that's good from Luan. 1-on-1. Big eyes from Conte towards Perrin. They know they're in such a big battle. Luan, who has quite the serve as well. It's a low toss serve into the net. We go to the technical. 2-point game. Lube leading, but there's still some life left in this one. That is for sure.
Quindi dobbiamo cambiare il muro. Da seconda linea, chiudiamo la linea. Sai Os, da seconda linea chiudiamo la linea. Buona ragazzi, teniamo lì, Nico. Vai nero, vai nero. Vamos ragazzi, bravi, dai, teniamo.
Dai. Continuiamo noi. Vamos, non si mola adesso. Andiamo, siamo avanti, dai.
Great time for Andy Leal to step up behind the service line. Boos and hisses for the former Sada man, but he has been instrumental to Lube in this competition. Johan gets one off the hands, charging in on the angle. Seatbelts on, ladies and gentlemen. The tiredness creeps in, the substitutions are coming in. It's been a long week for some of these players. Pairing. Going after Leal, speed to Wantarena, who's just been consistent once more. Wouldn't be surprised if Conte starts to get tired. It's been big responsibility on his shoulders. Luan is in, so Vandro is out at the moment through the hands of Conte, but they can't give up here, Sada Cruzeiro. Zani off the bench. Serving to one Perrin, great pass from Perrin. Johan, who's made a statement, pancake from the middleman, and Zani. Ryglitsky from way downtown. It's good defense. There's a challenge maybe from somewhere. Challenge from the head coach of Lube. You have to call your challenges quick in this game. Ferdinando De Giorgi. Official review. No faults on the back line, attack line from Luan. Big moment to call a challenge, and maybe timeout may follow here from Lube, but no. We have a few twists and turns in this one, don't we? This is certainly not over yet. Tavio, who possesses a real strong spin serve, is back up. And Terrain caught high, so now they're hitting from off the net. The blocker's trying to get across, but how good has one Terrain been in the last 20 minutes or so? Looks like he's picked up a knock here, but every time in this situation, Bruno goes to his most trusted man, chooses to go off the shorter blocker. Has to travel the furthest distance. Perrin, perfect passing. Conte, fire in the booth of Sada Cruzeiro. They're not being shrugged off here by Lube. The fans sensing something, because pretty much every single one of these sets, Sada Cruzeiro have trailed at some point, and they've just kept battling away. Bruno comes off for the moment. And the host is in. He goes straight to Robert Landy Simon. Welcome to the game. Trying to host, has a great connection with Robert Landy Simon. Finds him with pace, away from Isaac Santos. You see how much it means to the Belgian setter. Wants to play his parts in Lube's first ever Club World Championship, and there's a block as well this time. Ryglitsky. And Lube open up a priceless 3-point lead. And from the left side, Conte was on the right, but double stacking from Lube. Ferdinando De Giorgi is celebrating as Lube edge closer now to a first ever world title.
Vamos de nuevo, galera. Vamos a recuperar la bola. Tengamos paciencia cuando la bola está mala, recuperamos la bola y voltamos a atacar de nuevo. Para atacar la bola.
Não parou agora. Agora dois pontinhos, vai no saque e busca.
Isso, vamos.
Essa bola.
And this has been a Lube performance where everyone has had to take their chance at leading the side at different times. Leao, Wantarena, Simon, they've all really played their part, but Sada Cruzeiro, they want this so badly. 3 times they've won this competition. Every time when they've hosted this event. What a tournament they've had, though, but they need more. Conte serving, but they stay calm under pressure. The pass is good, they're running the offense with perfection. The host has just come on and fed Robert Landy Simon. Their connection is really good, especially under this sort of pressure. It's a great substitution from Ferdinando Giorgi to have trust in his second setter to come on and just feed Robert Landy Simon at this time. Big serves from Robert Landy Simon now as well. Lube look as if they are going to be crowned club world champions. The service pressure intensifying. Time out from Sada Cruzeiro.
José Montese bien para atacar, sí, bien alto para atacar, si no abrimos y trabalhamos. Con calma ahora, sí, más fuerte 6-1, atención la casinha, forte, más fuerte 6-1. Galera, vamos.
Running out of time, but they're not running out of heart. Robert Landy Simon has once more just been a shining star when Lube needed him desperately. Chance to serve once more, this time out the back, but actually Simon's job was done before the timeout with that big serve to open up the gap once more. Every point so crucial now. And the Brazilian international Isaac Santos, who's had a great competition, now knows that lots of responsibility hangs on his shoulders. Not this time, Lube within 2. What a competition for Kamil Ryklitsky. His first season at Lube, and due to the injury from here before, he's played so much of this competition. He's been outstanding on the right side, and he's been super consistent. Has a bright future in this game. Evandro. They're running out of opportunities here, Sada Cruzeiro. The crowd are quiet, but Evandro serving could be something that brings them back into the game, but 2 missed serves in a row give Lube full-on control once more, and match points for the Italians. who's serving. The competition's best server, Yoanni Leal, to seal it for Lube, not this time. Three needed. Substitution, impressive. Fede Nielsen comes in for Fernando. Bright future, the 23-year-old Brazilian, already in the national team ranks, but Lube are on the brink of winning their first ever club world championship. Gord Perrin from Canada serving to keep Sada in the game. It's a good pass from Leal, and Leal goes through the pipe! And it's Lube who win their first ever club world championship here in Becim, Brazil. History has been made for the Italians, and now they've done the treble. The Italian champions, the European champions, and now the world champions as well. A big team effort led by Ferdinando De Giorgi. Cucine Lube Civitanova have finally won the big one here in Becim. 2 years in a row they had to settle for the silver medal. Now they go back to Italy with the gold. You have to feel for Sada Cruzeiro, a brilliant competition, and they really did test the Italians. That third set could have gone either way. Yoanni Leal serving throughout this competition, but especially at that time was the difference. And now the celebrations begin. Cucine Lube Civitanova, the club world